Alex has discovered red pill content. Now, in his mind, traditional relationships are the only way forward. He wants a traditional feminine wife, one who looks after the kids, makes the house a home, and nurtures the family. Alex won't accept anything less, but those feminine women have their own preferences too. I remember I was having a very interesting conversation with one of the fellow gentlemen on Discord, free link by the way in the description below. And he was a younger lad, and he was talking to me and a couple of others around this idea that he will not accept, for whatever reason, a woman that does not fall into this umbrella term, this idea of being a traditional feminine and submissive woman. And I first thought, it's really good and really refreshing, actually, that men actually have a goal to aim for. They're very specific about what they want, because the heartbreaking thing for me is a lot of men don't know what they want, not just in women, but out of life. They don't know what they want to represent, if they want to build a business, what they want to work. I mean, most actually don't want to work, which, again, that cannot be commensurate with this modern living. But I suppose we're going on a tangent here. It's nice to know that guys have something to aim for, and it's good. It's good. There's no subjectivity on my part if that's a good or a bad thing. But I think having that idea first and foremost is wonderful, and being very specific about this. And we got into a conversation about modern women and perhaps how they don't fall into this remit, and this individual who's living in the States, I believe, can't find women that fall into his ideal, this idea of a feminine woman who is a housekeeper, who is a nurturer, who plays that kind of child-rearing, child-raising role. And I commended him on being specific on that, and we were going back and forth on my ideals as well. And before we get to my ideals, I asked him, so what are you going to do in order to attract this kind of woman into your life? I believe if you're the man that she wants to be, then naturally there can be some kind of synchronicity, and that likeness attracts like. And he went into this diatribe around mental models and platitudes around how he's a very disciplined man. He goes to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, which is all very good, very, very commendable. But there was an absence in my understanding of the conversation on what he was physically going to be trading. And the topic onto the conversation around finances and what he's going to be contributing, well, all he's going to be contributing to be able to facilitate his wife being able to stay at home without a job and raising the children. And that's when the conversation turned a little bit sour. It started to turn into a little bit of defensiveness, a little bit of reactiveness as well. And he was basically saying, Joseph, I don't like this idea of my wife not contributing anything financially to me, because I'm not, I don't want a gold digger. That's what he said. I don't want a gold digger. And I was kind of like, you do understand the dynamics of a traditional relationship, don't you? Of course, you seem to have fully fleshed out this idea of the woman that you want to bring into your life and all the traits that she has to be commensurate with in order for you to even consider her coming into your life. But there seems to be a misunderstanding on what then you're bringing to the table. If you want a traditional woman, you need to be a traditional man. And part of being a traditional man is to be a breadwinner, is to be a provider. And underneath the rubric of that provider title is you being the sole financial provider for your family. And he started to say, well, Joseph, this is completely unreasonable. I'm a student, I'm still working, I have a side job, but I don't have a 9 to 5. And even if I did have a 9 to 5, I think it's completely delusional to believe that you can support a nuclear family, a father, a mother, and 2 children under one salary. It's not going to happen. It's not within the remit of my possibility. And I said, I think you don't understand. You don't understand that you can't concede that you're going to have a traditional woman without being first a traditional man. And that comes in being, one of the top 10, maybe 5, maybe 1% earners in the world. And that, I think, is the problem with a lot of modern men is, unfortunately, and I'm guilty of this as well, by the way. I remember going through my times where I was maybe absorbing too much red pill content, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, whatever podcast, and being on the same kind of line this particular individual is towing, but not recognizing that the antithesis of the traditional woman is me to be a traditional man, and that's going to be a salary north of six figures, very north of six figures indeed, spending a lot of hours working as well in order to meet that kind of income, and perhaps not being as present as I'd like to be in the lives of my children and indeed my wife. Not saying that's commensurate with all traditional men, but certainly to meet the ends of the financial contributions, it's going to require a lot of hard work. And that is the unfortunate circumstance that a lot of younger men especially are experiencing. And by the way, I see nothing wrong with that, but you can't delude yourself into thinking that you're entitled to be, you cannot delude yourself into thinking that you're entitled to have a traditional woman if you're not a traditional man. I have something very interesting to show you here, which runs consistent with this idea. So I ran into this on Twitter from ask_Aubrey. The problem with a lot of modern men who want a trad wife is they absolutely refuse to be a traditional husband. So this is a text thread that I'll narrate. And I believe on the right-hand side, this is from a woman's perspective, right? On the left-hand side, you're the man responding. So I guess I'm just wondering what your expectations are from a partner. Very mature start from our traditional woman here. He's asking, like, in terms of expectations from women or men. I don't know how you swing. A little jest there. Women, not men. Very serious. No humor there. Lol, okay then, what are your expectations for your girlfriend, wife, or whatever? And he's asking, can I confide in you? Can I be honest? It might seem outdated or something. And she's going, yeah, of course, this is a judgment-free zone. So here are his expectations. Honestly, I'm looking for a traditionally feminine woman, someone who isn't going to mind being the child rearer and homemaker, someone who's going to take care of her appearance and herself, and just all around is content to be a female in our relationship. I know that's pretty anti-feminist or whatever, but it's just how I feel. She's replying, oh, slay. I don't think, you'll never hear me say that again, by the way. That felt uncomfortable in my throat there. I don't think that's anti-feminist or outdated at all. To be honest, that's pretty similar to what I want too. Kind of my dream, if I'm honest. This is a good sign. He's a little bit taken aback here. Yeah, I'd love to be able to focus on making my house a home, working on myself and just being taken care of without having to stress about expenses or money. LOL. What do you mean? Man replies. Just that I'd love a traditional man who's going to cover my expenses and make sure I'm getting what I want. Someone who brings that kind of natural masculine energy. So you're looking for a guy who isn't going to mind buying you whatever you want and basically will just bankroll your whole life. So again, the misunderstanding here is she's just talking about expenses, rent, electricity, bills, food, I imagine, all the kind of, what would you say, the normal requirements of daily living, not bankroll your whole life. And he's replying, so you're a gold digger, you're a user, basically. He's replying, well, more like someone who will take care of our family financially, not just me, our family financially, so I can take care of himself and the kids. She's saying, no, I promise. How is that any different from you wanting your girlfriend or wife to take care of the home and your kids? It kind of feels like a double standard for you to call me a gold digger. Oh, look at this. Jeez, look at this triple texting and some interesting pejoratives here. So it's not a double standard at all. It's different because the things that I'm looking for, being emotionally stable, takes care of herself, good with kids, are inherent female traits. Good women naturally have that stuff. You're looking for some rich guy who can buy you stuff. That's not what she said. That's not naturally part of being a guy. It's totally different. To be honest, she can make a very compelling argument that part of being a man is having more testosterone, and having more testosterone means that you're naturally going to be competitive. I tried to put two words together there. Combative and competitive behavior, meaning those traits are really going to help you if you're going to be disagreeable in salary negotiations, for example. So him saying temperamentally, emotionally stable, taking care of ourselves. Men are temperamentally inclined to have a higher salary because they're naturally more competitive. That's an argument. She didn't make that argument. Especially because of how expensive life is these days, you think I'm going to be able to afford a $250,000 house on one salary just so you can play dress up and not have to worry about a job. I can't believe this is a real conversation. You expect to not contribute to the bills or the cost of living. Wow, very reactive here. I knew there was something wrong with you. No wonder you tried to humiliate me at the restaurant. I should have left right then and there. My guy, chill out. It feels like the man is on the right hand of the conversation and not the left. She never said she was looking for a rich guy. She did never say that, or that house, or anything like that. Just that I want a guy who takes care of me, especially if I'm raising his kids. How can your dream woman be the homemaker and child rearer if she's also working full time to pay the bills? Good question. I have absolutely no issue with gender roles or divisions of labor in a relationship, but you're not looking for a traditional woman. You're looking for a maid and a nanny who can also help you pay the bills. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Just say you're only interested in me for my money. Next time you match with some sucker, tell him up front that he doesn't have to waste his time with you. She's saying that she paid for dinner last night. What do you mean interested in you only for your money? Wow. I'm wondering if this is fake now, because this is very, very embarrassing on his behalf. My degree is going to do way more for me than your business. One ever will. Now I know that you're probably getting a finance degree, probably so you can scout out the rich guys and try to steal their money. This guy didn't pay anyway. If you're gonna cuss me out and call me a gold digger because I want a traditional man, even though you want a traditional woman, something tells me not the type of guy I'm looking for. Lose my number, but I hope you have a good life. And then hitting her up for the old booty call a little bit later. So again, I certainly don't believe that this is indicative of a lot of men or all men, but this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I imagine this individual just bankrolls a lot of Fresh and Fit podcasts, a lot of Andrew Tate, a lot of whatever, and just doesn't fundamentally understand that equally he has to contribute something to the table in it. Traditional women are expensive. They're very expensive. I can't afford a traditional woman, right? And it really depends on the kind of relationship that you want. It's fine if you want this kind of relationship, but you have to understand the dynamics and the responsibilities on your part if you're going to be able to synthesize that into your life. The answer may look like for you, right? You need to not have a girlfriend, not date until you're making six figures easily every single year, and then you can enter the dating market with this kind of intention. Or you decide, hey, I want a kind of modern traditional. I like the idea. I call it I buy dinner, you buy the drinks, meaning I contribute more financially. Doesn't mean that you don't contribute financially, but I contribute at least 70%, 80%. You help me out here and there with utilities, the electricity, I get the rent. And I believe that's probably a good medium. I suppose the difficulties come in if you're paying too close attention to how you're splitting things. That could be potentially contentious. But I want to know what you guys think. As a modern man, like, if you're pursuing a traditional relationship, you're a top 1% man. You have to be earning north of six figures. That is a minimum. But that's 1%. Maybe 1% of you watching this video. The other guys who are just normal guys and who are working 9 to 5 and want a good woman but also want to play that kind of masculine role. What do you think of my suggestion there? Maybe you want to go traditional. Maybe you want to go, not traditional, egalitarian relationship, 50-50, everything. I think the only challenge with that is perhaps there could be a problem with ascertaining who is actually the leader of the relationship and who is, more the kind of follower. Interested to hear your opinions, gentlemen. Are these theories? I think they may be facts. Speak soon.